morning, my name is Rupa. I'm a realtor with Remax One. In this episode, I will talk about preparing for home inspection and 10 things sellers needs to do for a successful inspection. There are many obstacles that can derail an inspection, especially in today's COVID climate. As your agent, I will advise on what to do to make the process go a bit smoother. Given the current situation, how can sellers best prepare for home inspections in today's climate? Here are 10 things as a realtor I advise the sellers to do to make the process go a bit smoother. Sellers needs to make sure they are communicating and setting expectations and managing inspector protocol. Whether or not it's required in your market, sellers should request that inspector wear mask, gloves and booties or anti-slip socks when going through the home. They should ask inspectors to use hand sanitizer and wipe to promptly disinfect any surfaces they touch. It may work best if sellers have a supply of these items out and available for the inspector to easily use. Sellers need to make sure that inspectors can access the areas and spaces they need to check. This might mean moving a few belongings or clearing out an entire area. Inspectors themselves aren't allowed to touch or move personal items. If they can't access an area, they likely wait and return after that space has been cleared. Not only does this prolong the process, but it also causes frustration for everyone involved in the transaction. Make sure an inspector can access electrical panels, water heaters, heating and cooling units, and outlets. Sellers should check the garage and move any vehicles or golf carts out of the way. Inspectors should be able to walk through a garage freely and get into an attic or crawl space if there are any objects in the way. If there are any objects in the way of the motion sensors on the garage door opener, they may need to be moved so the inspector can check if this safety feature is functioning. If there's an attic access in the closet, sellers need to clear the items from that closet. Otherwise, they should make sure to protect them and cover them in plastic. Oftentimes, dust and debris may result from the inspectors going into the attic. Sellers should consider meeting with inspectors when they arrive to review how their systems, appliances and equipment work and explain details and nuances before they leave. Inspectors don't want to risk damaging anything, so if they are unable to figure it out how something works, they may note it as inoperable on the inspection report. Sellers then have to troubleshoot or go over it with the buyers and their agent. If sellers can be there, they should consider leaving an instruction sheet or a checklist inspectors can refer to. This will hopefully prevent any mishaps with the inspectors. If sellers haven't had their HVAC serviced or cleaned and the filters changed, they should consider doing that before the inspection. This item is often called out on inspection, so taking care of this proactively will result in one less thing on the list. The fifth one is check light bulbs to make sure they're all on and functioning properly. If sellers have any lights or ceiling fans with remotes, they need to make sure the batteries are working. Caulk any obvious areas in need of attention around countertops, in the kitchen and bathrooms. They should pay attention to areas around sinks, tubs and any wet areas. The seventh item is don't forget your dryer vent. This is something that a lot of sellers forget or ignore but often turns up as a common issue on the inspection report. So as a reminder, as your agent, I remind you to have your dryer vents cleaned out. If the sellers have an ice maker in the freezer, they need to make sure it's turned on and making ice for the inspection. If it's off, they'll need to turn it on and demonstrate to the buyers that it is in fact making ice and working as it's supposed to be. Windowsills and tracks need to be cleaned. Dust and dead bugs can build up in these areas, which often get overlooked during the course of everyday cleaning. Wiping these areas down will minimize dust and debris from the inspector opening and closing every window as part of the inspection process. Finally, test locks and the sprinkler system. If the home has a sprinkler system, seller needs to check it to make sure that the heads are hitting the right areas and none of them are leaking when they run. Check locks, hinges, and doors to ensure nothing sticks and everything latches properly. This is a helpful checklist to run through before an inspector comes through your home. Taking care of these items will hopefully shorten the time the inspector is in the home and minimize the need for a return visit to look at things that couldn't access the first time around. If you have a need to sell your home, please call me at 732-397-9185 or email me at rupa@ruparealtor.com or visit my website at ruparealtor.com. Have a nice day.